right, let's talk about, do you remember growing up at all in New York?
Of course. I
What did,
lived at 1828 Longfellow Avenue. One block away was Starlight Pool Park. The other block was the home of, his name was Bernie Schwartz, who was really Tony Curtis, the movie
all
star.
right, how old were you when you moved down here?
South. I was 9.
So you spent 9 years in New York.
Mhm.
Do you remember, did you have any friends that you remember?
Rosemary Hand.
Was she a neighbor? Did she live close by?
She could have been in the next building.
Do you remember school?
I remember when my father got a job in the Pentagon.
That's what brought you down here.
Right.
What was he doing up in New York? What kind of work?
Not a lot.
Well, he must have been doing something.
Not a lot. He was sick.
Yeah, but you're 9 years there. He was doing something. He was
an
a electrician. Was he working private sector, government sector?
I don't know. I remember he worked at a big Catholic church. And I remember him telling the family that underneath the church they found a lot of babies that were buried. They were babies from the nuns. Remember that?
You mean nuns that got pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of disgusting. That they.
And it could be that the father was the priest.
That's why they call him a father.
Right. But I remember when my dad called and said to my mom, "We're moving to Alexandria, Virginia." He didn't say Virginia, Alexandria. And at that point in time, I was studying Alexandria, Egypt. And I thought we were going to Egypt, and I was very excited.
So what did you think of the Northern Virginia Egyptians?
Well, my mom and Aunt Fran went down to look for a place. They stayed at a hotel right off of King Street. Building is still standing. I remember my mother was my mother had a tough time. She was married, her sisters were successful financially. She was not. And my dad was sickly. He used to throw up a lot. That was the way he could get, because he had kidney failure.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you moved down here, you were still in elementary school.
Yeah, I was 9.
So do you remember, was it difficult?
213 East Alexandria Avenue.
Was it difficult to make friends, or do you remember what it was like with getting?
I never really had trouble making friends.
Well, you were the new kid on the block from
I'm
New
Jewish.
York. There weren't
I
many.
was in the South.
Yeah, not many Jewish
the South
people.
was very different then than it is today. I remember my mother used to say, "You don't have to tell people you're Jewish." Very different, Mark. Very.
So what was home life like in Alexandria?
We had a potbelly stove. I remember you walked through like the living room, and my mother kept it going.
Did you guys have?
I remember I went to a school, and I remember when I was 10, I got my